This is Dr. Heather Yost. I am really excited that you've joined me today. I have been looking forward to putting this on for you, and I feel kind of especially happy today. I recently went to Mount Rushmore with my family. We actually camped up there, and this has been a couple weeks now, and I just got all the laundry done, and it's put away, so that today is a good day. But I digress. Anyways, let's get started. We're going to talk today about conquering stress, depression, and anxiety. And my two goals are really to give you practical information that you can kind of take home today and get started on, and also secondly, to help teach you the truth. If we look at individuals being just that, individuals, I mean, what are some of the labels that we've been given? Maybe, you know, you're too sensitive, or you cry a lot. Maybe you wear your heart on your sleeve, or you're kind of the ugliest child in the family. These pictures are of me, and I was, I want to go there. There we go. As I was labeled as like a sensitive child, other people would cry, I would. I was really felt for these are my siblings. Of course, in teenage years that changed, and this is me. Somehow I ended up with a mullet that was permed, God knows how, but look at that. Anyways, I'm glad that style has gone out, and let's pray it doesn't come back like scrunchies and fanny packs have. So what I want to say though with this is, you know, labels like overly sensitive, depression, you have so much anxiety or anxious all the time, these can even be labels that we give ourselves. Once you're labeled and you start to say, I am an anxious person, or I am depressed, or I am too overly sensitive, those labels start to, over time, make us feel broken. And, you know, I look back at my childhood, and I wasn't a sensitive child, sometimes very overly dramatic, my mother would tell you. But I think that for me, that's been really one of my superpowers as I have grown up. You know, it's been something that I've channeled and used and brought me to this career, like the most amazing career possible. So what I want you to do is I want you to stop feeling like you are labeled or that you are broken, because the more we feel broken, the more broke we are. And really there is a root cause to everything, to every symptom that we have. If you look at, you know, a tree, every branch of the tree has a root to it, and every symptom that we have is the body's way of communicating with you to please change something different. So what that something different is where functional medicine really comes in and helps us dig that root cause out, and we'll go through that in a little bit more here in a minute. But I can't get started without throwing a little credit where credit is due. This is my team. This is my treasure. I have the goal. They're the engine that makes it run. And these people in front of you, they work really hard. They care, and they care a lot. And I know that most of our patients come in and maybe they're not, you know, used to that. They're not used to being cared for that. And I think that might just be because, you know, they're being seen by many different doctors, or maybe some of the doctors that they're being seen by are sitting in front of a computer typing away, or not spending very much time with them, or utilizing the best that they know how in a setting where sometimes I say to patients, you know, you're asking all the right questions, or just asking it to the wrong doctor. And we all really only know what we know. So it's important, for me as a doctor, I think it's important to work with other practitioners, and for you as a consumer, it's important to understand or make sure that you're getting to the right place. So I'm really, really proud of this team. I'm really, really proud of the patients that have put their trust and confidence in us. And my job is not to label you or to make you feel diseased or broken. Our care is different. My job is to empower you. My job is to guide you, to coach you. I always say, when you're going to make any changes, you're kind of walking up a mountain, and I can't climb it for you. I certainly can't carry you, but I'll walk it with you. So we want to make sure that we're teaching you the truth. And before we go too far into healthcare and the root cause here, I do have a disclaimer. Sorry, I have to do this. I have to share this information. It's provided to not to intend, please, it's not going to replace medical advice of your doctor or healthcare provider. And if you're going to discontinue any medication, please see the prescribing physician. I did not tell you to get off any medication. And you'll notice with any of my workshops and webinars, I'm just sort of biased towards natural healthcare. I mean, I believe it should be the practitioner's job to try and understand each patient's unique circumstances, environment, genetics, and biology, in an effort to develop a treatment plan that's designed specifically to fill that patient's needs. I don't particularly like medication. It isn't necessarily medication, it's the overuse of it, because I believe that many patients have found them to be helpful and absolutely necessary at times. It's just the overuse of it, or not really understanding that maybe there is a root cause to what's going on. So let's start by diving into some of the research. This is a research done on antidepressants versus a placebo. It found that one in five Americans are taking mental health drugs, so it's important to look into why this is happening and ask questions like, are drugs dangerous to take? I mean, they do cause, or can cause, I should say, liver, kidney, stomach problems. And if we look at the use of, say, antidepressants, women, one in six women are taking antidepressant. It's the number one cause of disability in women as far as depression, anxiety, or mental health. So in this study, and I could go through quite a few others, but in the interest of time, this shows antidepressants work no better than a placebo. While many people may benefit from antidepressive treatment, although most to a degree that's not clinically significant, about 1 in 4 are made worse. So what does that mean? That means that 1 in 4 are made worse, and not necessarily their depression, it's their their overall health. So I oftentimes see patients come in and tell me they're on these medications, and I ask, is it working? Is it helping? And they'll say, no, in fact, I feel worse. Why are you still taking it? There's got to be a better way. So here it shows too, there are other treatments that on average work as well as antidepressants, such as physical exercise, cognitive behavioral psychotherapy, and as far as we know, these alternatives don't make people worse. So this study says, it suggests to me that antidepressants should be kept as a last resort, and if a person does not respond to treatment within a few weeks, should be discontinued. So we want to really make sure that we are starting off by, say, building a safety net. We want to make sure that we're putting things into place to help to take care of us in the present, but prevent problems in the future. So, I mean, in life, you are going to have your ups and you're going to have your downs, right? I mean, that's normal. A stress response is normal. You lift weights, and that stress response of the body is what builds a muscle. A bear jumps out of the woods and scares you, you're gonna either try to fight the bear or run from the bear. And that stress response the body creates with the heart rate rising, the blood pressure, the blood sugar changing, that's all normal. What's not normal is if you get too high or if you get too low. That's not normal. You should flux up and down. So what antidepressants do is they really kind of take away the highs and they take away the lows, so that you get more of a flatline effect. So what's a safety net do for you? It keeps you from falling too low. So these are the causes of stress, anxiety, and depression. They're really physical, emotional, environmental, or biological. Most of the time, if you see a doctor and he's putting on an antidepressant, he's focusing on the emotional aspect of stress, and maybe not necessarily looking at the whole picture. The depression is looked at as kind of a neurotransmitter problem, and that's just one aspect of the biological component. If you do only focus on this alone, there's such a huge chance of failing, unless of course you only have one problem. But what is the chance really of that when you look at this list? None. So for example, like with kids, you think about, like, if my kids are cranky, they don't sleep very well the night before, and they wake up, they're cranky and they're irritable, and they don't want that for breakfast, and they're not going to do that for lunch, and they have to make their bed, and why am I torturing them by asking them to brush their teeth? And what's the first thing that we oftentimes say as parents when our kids act like that after a short night of sleep? We say, tonight you are going to bed early. When was the last time we have said that to ourselves? When we've had a rough day, when we're cranky, when we're irritable? When was the last time we said, tonight you're going to bed early? Tonight you're doing some extra special self-care. Tonight you're going to make sure that your environment is peaceful. When was the last time you said something like that to yourself? Because the stressor is that when that stress comes up, it creates biological effects. So stress, emotional, physical, your body doesn't know the difference. Your body doesn't know the difference between, say, the good stress of planning a wedding and the bad stress of a spider crawling across your desk. Your body, it can be accumulative, and the body responds to stressors in the same way. So I know a lot of you think, or I hear this a lot, patients come in and say, I think I have an adrenal problem. Well, if you have chronic emotional and physical stress, it goes to the adrenals, causes the adrenals to release cortisol. Cortisol is meant to be short term. If it's, meaning bear jumps out of the woods and scares you, body releases cortisol. Cortisol makes you run faster, harder, stronger, longer without feeling pain, briar patches if you're running through the woods. But in long term, it causes blood sugar issues. It causes hormonal imbalance, causes tissue inflammation, neurological damage, poor digestion, and on and on. So for instance, if you're in a bad relationship, you're literally not going to out supplement that bad relationship. You have to create new patterns. You have to create new environments. You have to stop that. At the top of this, you have to stop that stress, emotional, physical, etc., from taxing the adrenals. So here are the 5 fundamentals that we're going to work on: increasing mental strength, exercising regularly, eating well, sleeping better and longer, and eliminating hidden stressors. All 5 have to be equal. You can't just choose one of these pie pieces and expect to be healthy. You have to put equal weight into each one of these. That's wellness. That's healthcare. That's prevention. There are no shortcuts to mental well-being. Sadly, there are no magic bullets. You've got to put a little bit of work here to reap the benefit. But I promise you, it's easier to get well than it is to stay feeling the way that you are. So the first step is having hope. This is truly important. You have to think, I think and I know I can get better. Your subconscious brain actually doesn't know the difference between truth and something that it hears regularly. So if it's hearing, whether it's inside your head or from someone else, you're no good, you're always depressed, I hate that you act like this, or I hate that I am like this, I can't ever get up and do what I say I'm going to do, whatever that mindset is, it's a fixed mindset. I don't think I can get better. This is just who I am. Something is wrong with me and there's nothing I can do about it. That's a lie. That is a lie. You can, and you need to know you can get better. You have these challenges, but you can overcome them. I am malleable. And write this on a sticky, put it on your mirror, stick it in your car. You are your thoughts. You've got to train your brain. Your brain works like a muscle. You have to train that muscle and maintain that strength by continuing to do what you did to help you get there. So you are your thoughts. You have to start thinking about what you want and training the brain in that direction. So when you think, this activity overwhelms me, or this activity always gives me anxiety, then you say, you know what, I think I'm up for a challenge. And you have to find what works for you. So if it sounds hokey pokey, it's because you haven't found the right words yet. So if you have negative thoughts, write them down and start to think of what the opposite of that is. I feel weak. Nope, I am strong. And that's going to train your brain. It's not going to be as hard. It's like the first time in the gym, how does that feel? Terrible. The first time you lift, weights for your biceps, it hurts. It's hard. It doesn't come easy. It doesn't feel natural. Neither will this. So you have to train your brain. Serenity key. Have you guys ever heard this? Stop trying to change the things outside of yourself and focus on changing the things you can control and accept the things that you can't. You look across the world and there are people in other countries that have far less than we do. There are, I visit Mexico periodically, and the average person on there earns $8 a day. $8 a day. And they are some of the happiest people that are so grateful. And I think they pay like $150 in rent per month. How long would that take to get to with $8? It's just, there's so many people that are worse off than you, and it's important to put it in perspective. And if you're really having a rough time, go visit blank children's hospital. Go look at pictures of children with cancer. It's like there's so many things out there that are so hard, and I'm not belittling what you're going through, that of a loved one or friend, family member, coworker. I'm just saying that by utilizing these different tools, we can start to step away from what's weighing us down and step into our greatness. Anxiety is just not, think about it. If you have anxiety, it's not being present. If you look too far, you're creating a truth for yourself that's not true. I think this might happen. I'm scared. what is when I hear I'm scared that this is gonna, cause me to die. I'm scared that I'm gonna have a heart attack. I'm scared that my loved ones are gonna leave me. I'm scared that this isn't gonna work out for me. I'm scared to try because I might fail. It's not being present and focusing too far ahead. So greed or guilt is typically backwards, right? Anxiety is present. So no amount of guilt is going to serve you, and no amount of anxiety is going to correct the future. Here's what typically happens. There is a threat, or a stressor, excuse me, and then we feel threatened by that stressor, right? Something comes up, we feel threatened by the stressor, we have anxiety, and then we tend to avoid that, which causes more anxiety. So in this country, I mean, we're like masters at avoiding, from technology to TVs to Netflix to Amazon Prime. Everything is really at our fingertips, and it's allowing us instead of fixing the problem to actually continue to avoid it. So here's what should happen. Stressor, you feel threatened, you have anxiety, you name it, and this is what you're gonna do. Thoughts are things, they can come and go. Here's what I want you to think about. I'm gonna say that one more time. Thoughts are things, they can come and go. So stressor, feel threatened, anxiety, you name it. I understand what this is. Create a challenge, make a challenge, create a new action step. And here's the question you would ask. I understand what this is. What can I do to make it better? And the first thing that you have to do to get your brain to come up with that is you've got to stand up, you've got to move, you've got to change your body, you've got to change your face. You have to change your physiology to change your mental well-being. So get up, count backwards from 5 if you need to, or count backwards from 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 8. Okay, get up. Move the body, change your face, make it a challenge. Your mental well-being will follow the physical activity in the body. And it's hard, really, if you think about in moments of anxiety, it's really hard. It's hard to have, like in anxiety, we start to shallow breathe. We typically don't blow it all the way out. It's like pull in the breath, pull in the breath, pull in the breath. You're not doing that, breathing it all the way out. And really, it's hard to have, and you need to start to have productive thoughts, because it's hard to have anxiety and think things of gratitude and breathe at the same time. So it's changing your physiology. You can change it in a single moment. Now, are you going to be perfect? Are you going to feel exactly how you're hoping to feel? No, but you're going to feel better. We've got to reduce the self-absorption of nobody wants to be around us. Depression and anxiety, it is a real thing. I'm not saying that. It's a very, very real thing. But you're typically with those that you're very self-absorbed. You're in your head. You're thinking, I feel this way. I am feeling worried. I'm feeling anxious. Replace that with love and service. It's so hard to, again, feel love and feel anxiety and depression at the same time. So replacing, getting out there, give to somebody, volunteer for something, go down at the hospital and see what you can do. I promise you that if you're of service to somebody else, if you're helping someone else with their pain, it's going to change the way you feel. You just have to be the best you. There's no need to compare. Get off Facebook, get off Instagram, quit comparing. Those are all just a moment in someone's life. People pick the things for Facebook and Instagram that are the best portions of their life. They're not real. That is not their real life. Everybody has challenges. And they say that when you watch social media, or that you're on social media at all, first thing in the morning, any sort of social media or even email, you're 3 times less productive in that day, because you're wasting your time on somebody else's life versus yours. And we need to really focus on the journey, not necessarily the outcome obsession. Like if you want to lose, 25 pounds, what's your journey to get there? If we're always focused on where we're going, we're going to miss what's happening around us. And the more you think, the more you think about the hard things in your life, the more you're going to dwell on those. So the more you think about your journey and where you're going, you're going to get more of that. So how many of you, quick question to break this up, how many of you have ever felt like cleaning? And if you're listening to this, you can raise your hand if you want to. And if there is somebody out there that raises their hand, or really felt like cleaning, get a hold of me after this. I want you to rub off on me. But most people will say, no, absolutely not. You do not feel like cleaning. But after you get done cleaning, you're always glad you did, right? It always feels good that it's done. It's the same thing when you go to, how many people, really, really want to go to the gym, or how many people have worked out at 5 a.m. and not wanted to, but we're always glad that they did. So you typically aren't going to regret making these positive changes. Feelings follow behavior. We always think we need to be motivated, like we should feel like we want to go to the gym. We should feel like we want to move around. We should feel. Motivation and feelings follow behavior. You have to create the behavior first. So here's some emotional strengthening habits. This is just some of them, but from yoga to journaling to prayer, meditation, gratitude walk. If you've never done that, it's kind of silly. Maybe do it in the privacy of your own home, or if you're out in the woods. But what you do is basically with every step you say, I'm thankful for this, I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for my family, I'm thankful for the opportunities I have, I'm thankful that I'm on a new journey, I'm thankful that I'm following through with my commitments, I'm thankful that the sun is out, I'm thankful that the grass is green. Gratitude it's actually a behavior, not a feeling. So, and then you create different mantras. Instead of saying I can't, I don't feel it, I want you to say, I'm amazing, I can totally do that, or I'm going to at least give it a try. And no more, listen, as far as emotional strengthening habits right now, I want you to draw a line, absolutely no more feelings that hurt you. You're not allowed to do that anymore. You can have them once and then drop it. You change it and you switch it up with a new mantra. Don't keep replaying the same old thing in your head. And get outside. It's proven to actually be good for your body. If you're in a dark room, if you're sad and depressed and you're in a dark room, get out of there. Get out into the sun, open your shades every single day, get those blinds out of the way so the sun can come in, open up the windows every single chance you get, take a walk in nature, get away from your devices, because the average person gets the same amount of stimulation in 1 month that they would normally get in a lifetime. A lot of people are getting 24 to 30 hours of TV per week. You guys, if you tell me that you don't have time to exercise, you don't have time to meditate, you don't have time to journal, and you're on social media or on TV, you're just choosing which one is your priority. You're choosing which one's more important to you. And there are consequences to all behavior. So turn the devices off more often. Most importantly, turn them off 2 hours, 1 to 2, never less than 1 hour before you go to bed. It changes your brain. Social environment, we need to remove tolerations and incongruences. Surround yourself with positive influences. You're the sum total of the top 5 people you hang out with the most. So if there are people in your life that are dragging you down, that aren't good for you, that is going to negatively impact your mental and physical well-being. Get involved in the community. Hire a coach, but don't hire someone that's going to label you. Hire someone that's going to teach you how to use all parts of you as part of your superpower to become the best version of yourself. And like I put on the bottom, remove negative people, but you don't have to remove you. Just make sure that you stop any sort of negative self-talk. If you do have habits like the following, these are going to exaggerate the ups and downs. So, rats chew sugar over cocaine. Right now, the average person eats 150 to 170 pounds of sugar. It used to be 5. I mean, bread is so processed and so refined that eating a piece of toast is going to spike your sugars more than a Snickers bar. It was a whole grain, until processing destroyed it. So sugar is absolutely known to cause depression. It's a neurotoxin. Causes neuroinflammation. So let's talk mind boosting activities. Here's some fun books that I love and listen to. If you're not into reading books, put it on Audible. Pick up a book on tape. Utilize your time in the car. When I'm in the car, when I'm walking, I'm always listening to a podcast. I was listening to some sort of YouTube or a book or an audio tape. Lately, my staff would tell you that oftentimes I'm listening to Spanish lessons, so they're hearing me speak it all the time because I want to exercise my brain and I really, really, really want to learn a second language. So just start to download some of these things. Start to utilize your downtime. If you're If you spend 10 minutes getting ready in the morning in front of a mirror, stick on a podcast, get your subconscious brain listening to this stuff all the time. And as far as physical stress, we really need to increase dopamine and serotonin, those good quality neurotransmitters, and we need to decrease pain and cortisol. So there's a lot of ways that you can do this, from therapeutic massage, acupuncture, chiropractic, reflexology, Reiki, craniosacral therapy. And if you think about this as an analogy, like what if you had a rock in your shoe and you go to the doctor with this rock in your shoe and the doctor says, I can solve it. Here's what you need to do. You're going to take 1 ibuprofen for the rest of your life. That's what a lot of you are doing with your pain. It's sometimes as simple as removing the rock from the shoe, getting to the root cause of it so you're not covering up the signals that the body's trying to tell you, because signals are just saying that something's wrong. Specifically if it's on one side of the body, or if it's on one side of the body, it can be something that's out of balance. So if you say also, I went for a massage once and it didn't correct me, it doesn't work that way, guys. Or I went and I got one adjustment, it didn't correct me. Or I went and did one workout in the gym and I didn't lose the 25 pounds that I want to lose. It doesn't work that way. It's a habit, it's a lifestyle. You have to go more than one time. When you do exercise, you're actually more resilient to stress. I mean, how many of you would like to be more resilient to stress? We can't always change what's happening around us, but we can change the way the body responds. So therefore, exercise is a requirement of being a human, so you need to do it. We used to walk 5 miles a day in the 1900s. How many are doing that now? We have cars that are transporting us everywhere. We're getting the closest parking spot in the grocery store parking lot. I bet most of you today, I believe most of you brushed your teeth, right? That's another example. I was trying to think of another example that, you did because you need to every day, or that stress or plaque or food is going to accumulate on your teeth. The same thing happens to your body. You have to do these things every day. So as far as eating foods, we need to eat real whole foods that come from the earth. I think of it like farm to table type of eating. Fruits, vegetables, meats, eggs, as long as you're not sensitive to them, would be your primary foods. Loads of water, nuts and seeds, no sugar. Make sure that with the water you're drinking half an ounce per pound of body weight. That's your requirement. Your water is fuel for your body. If you're going to drive your car from your house to the mall, it requires a certain amount of fuel. Your body requires a certain amount of water to run every single day. If you are low on water, it's absolutely going to have an impact on your health, your joints, your muscles, your energy, and so on. And sleep is critical. Oh my gosh, how many people have had a newborn baby that has kept you up for nights, weeks, months on end? Or for so many of you that have sleep issues and challenges, sleep is so critical. Those of you who have struggled, it's critical, isn't it? It is critical for your health, and it's like exercising any other muscle. Have you ever thought of it that way? You have to have a routine. You need to develop a sleep routine. Sleep shouldn't be, I'm so exhausted, I'm falling into bed, or I'm staying up doing things that aren't important. You have to get a good quality 7 hours of sleep ideally a night, and you're going to get that by developing a quality sleep routine. Practice and consistency is where it's at. There's no magic bullet. It takes time and repetition. If you are inconsistent and don't practice, you're going to experience what you don't want. It really is, you get out of it what you put into it. If you put that effort in consistently, those improvements they're going to compound over time, and you'll become a higher expression of yourself. I know that this is a little bit more work. I understand that we do wish and hope sometimes there's a magic bullet, but guys, gals, there's no such thing. Here's what typically happens, is that we try something, or we're at optimal health and vitality. Over time that starts to go down. Then we try something and we almost get comfortable, and then we drop what we're doing, and we start to go downhill again and up and down. So true health isn't necessarily about being perfect. It's about progress. And it's about loving yourself through it. And the road to recovery isn't necessarily a straight shot up. You can have these bumps and dips in the road, but the more you're consistent, the less that you're going to have them. So if it's not working, you don't necessarily discontinue, you just add something to it. The 3 most common hidden stressors we find in our office are poor gut health, inflammation, and hidden infections. How do you know if this is part of your problem? How do you know? You don't really until you test. You've got to test to determine this. You can't just look at symptoms. Because, for example, you could have a cavity and not feel it. You could have cancer and not feel it. You could have cardiovascular disease and not feel it. You could stub your toe and really feel it. So we've got to stop thinking that pain or symptoms are going to tell us the whole story or even tell us a story as to how healthy we are. So here's a couple of tests about hidden stressors. This talks about how the gut influences anxiety and depression. There's more DNA in the bacteria of your gut than you have of your own. So the gastrointestinal system is absolutely critical to the health of your overall body. It's where your immune system comes from. It's where the neurotransmitters for your brain come from. Like this says 90% of your body's serotonin is produced in the gut. So poor diet equals poor gut function, right? Equals low serotonin equals depression and anxiety. Imagine, instead of going to a psychologist for depression or anxiety, you go to a gastroenterologist. Read that again. Poor diet. This makes sense, right? Poor gut. It lowers the serotonin. Low serotonin causes depression and anxiety. It's proven. This is another study. We could go through a lot of these. This shows that leaky gut plays a role in depression. It's proven. Which begs the question, why isn't this being addressed more often? When you go into a doctor with depression or anxiety, why isn't it being addressed? I mean, I think here's why. It's not that anybody's being dismissive, vindictive, or malicious. It's that this isn't being trained in medical schools. They're experts on crisis care management. So they're experts if you cut your leg open, if you break a bone, if you have a heart attack, if you get hit by a bus. That's where they're really good. So if you're looking at health, vitality, prevention, and root cause, guys, they're just not trained in that. And look at this. If you vitamin D deficiency and depression, if you live in the Midwest, you're deficient and you're not supplementing with vitamin D, let me be the first to tell you, you're deficient. It's guaranteed. You are not going to get the vitamin D that you need from the sun, even if you're out in it. So why waste the time and effort to try to get out in the sun if you're not going to build up the right amount of vitamin D? That's where you just need to get tested to see what your levels are to determine how much you need. This is where the study is showing, autoimmune thyroid dysfunction and depression being related. Hey, how many of you have ever had the flu? Are you happy when you have the flu? With autoimmunity, or actually, that feeling right away when you wake up in the morning and you just don't feel like something's off and you just don't feel very good, and then you're full-blown sick by the afternoon. That feeling in the morning is what autoimmunity is. It's like unwell-itis. Do you think that eventually wear you down? This study shows that people with Hashimotos are especially vulnerable to depression. This needs to be addressed. So 2, inflammation. Here's a normal cell on the left. The cell in the middle is being bombarded with free radicals or toxins, and it produces a cell on the right. This can be measured. It's called CRP. It can lead to things like heart disease, stroke, Alzheimer's, dementia, we now name cancer. Don't you think you should get this tested? When would be the right time to get it tested? At what stage? We test it on all ages. So simple blood tests can solve depression. Elevated CRP is linked to depression. I mean, think about this. Which cell is going to be happier? So get that CRP every time you have a blood test done. They should be adding that test in, CRP, C-reactive protein. Hidden infections. Yeast is actually linked to mental illness, candida overgrowth. It's one of the 3. I did a video recently. You can find it on our Facebook page, Yost Wellness Center on Facebook, and it's called the 3 secret hidden health problems: candida, inflammation, autoimmunity. Those are the 3. So even Johns Hopkins Medicine is showing now, hospitals are looking into this. That's kind of neat, right? And they're showing that candida is linked to mental illness. Candida in the gastrointestinal system. The gastrointestinal system is where the neurotransmitters for the brain come from. Do you see how everything's connected? How there's a root cause. So how do you know? I mean, how do you know if you have any of these things? Are your symptoms going to tell you? I mean, Candida is the great mimicker. It can cause brain fog, fatigue, irritability, depression, mood swings, bloating, food cravings, gastrointestinal upset, and on and on. You know, because you test. So here's what I want you to think about today. You've gotten a lot of information. I hope you've taken notes. We can send you, or you can keep a copy of this recording. We could send you some key tips on it. But here's what I want you to think about. I don't want you to slay the dragon. It gets too overwhelming. I want you to choose 3 things. 3 things that you're going to commit to over the next 60 days. I don't even care if it's that you're going to wake up and put a smile on your face first thing of the day. It doesn't matter. You choose 3 things, and when you do those things, you reward yourself. The brain loves to be rewarded. It doesn't like a smackdown. And the more you reward it, the more it's going to look for ways to be rewarded. So yours could be as simple as, I'm going to do 10 jumping jacks when I wake up. I'm going to exercise 2 days a week. I'm going to open up the curtains in my house so I get more natural sunlight. I'm going to compliment somebody every single day. I'm going to volunteer for this organization. I want you to commit to 3 things. Choose the first 3 things that pop in your head and write it down so that on your phone, write it down on a piece of paper just so you have it down. And then when we're all done here, you go back and you change it if you want to. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be written in stone. If you get 20 days and you want to change it, change it. This is your life. You make up the rules. You can do whatever you want. Just choose something that is going to impact you in a positive way. And, oh, I actually wrote down 10 things that you could do too. So here's some ideas, further ideas. Strengthen your brain. Change your focus to loving others. Practice gratitude and appreciation. Please turn that TV off. Create a positive environment. You know, in meditation too, you guys, it's not some sort of religious practice. It just stops the noise. That's all it means. You just focus on your breath. You listen to one of the free apps on your phone. You Google meditation or look on YouTube, whatever it is. It's not a religious practice. It just stops the noise. And you got to exercise that brain the same way. I also have a couple of books here, like Taming Your Gremlin. You can pick it up here. You can look it up online. There's a whole bunch of different things that you could read just when you look at stress. You know, if you Google that or put it in Amazon. Eliminate tolerations and incongruencies. If you've said, I'm changing that, I'm going to change that, I'm going to change that, that's a toleration. Stop telling your brain that you're going to do something that you don't do. You must follow through and train the brain that what you say is fact, and it's going to happen. Exercise 20 minutes a day, eat healthy, get more and better sleep, and please get help from a professional. Get a coach, a mentor, someone that can lift you up and build you up. Even if you don't want to hire someone for one-on-one, choose somebody. Brendan Burchard, Wayne Dyer, Eleanor Roosevelt. I read all of her books over an entire year. I looked at her as like my mentor, and she's not even alive. So you can just choose somebody, Rachel Hollis, choose somebody and have them be your mentor and just start to devour everything that they have. Over every path, over every mountain there's a path, although it may not be seen from the valley. You know, if you're going to climb a mountain, if you continue to look at the top, is that going to be more or less intimidating? Do you have more or less of a chance of tripping? You've got to just look at the step right in front of you. Here's so with us, we work with a lot, you know, here in the office we see a lot of anxiety and depression. We get really great results getting down to that root cause and helping patients change their lives. We see 90% of patients on an average after 5 months, they note improvement in their mind. So, you know, things like being able to comprehend, focus, read books, recall, short-term memory. We see about 89% with mood swings, anxiety, anger, irritability, depression improving. Not necessarily everybody has those problems when they come in, so that can factor into some of these statistics that it could even be higher. 73% of patients improve their sleep. Again, not everybody comes in with sleep issues. We see quite a bit of a reduction in inflammation, so that's that CRP marker. Anything over 2 doubles your risk of a heart attack or stroke, so you can see how a lot of people are starting. An average of people in this group started pretty high. We see improvement in energy over 5 months of care, and really the results kind of speak for themselves. I could go through a lot of people's story. This one is kind of heartwarming. She had almost not made an appointment, which for me, my voice is small. My goal is to help change the healthcare delivery system. My goal is to help anybody who wants help to change their life, whether it's, a good fit in my office or they find something that's the best fit for what they're dealing with. So the idea that so many people are stuck in their stuff, scared to make a change or not even knowing what change to make or even where they should begin or wondering why they're not getting the help that they're looking for and feeling like they're losing hope. This particular person was in the same boat, but she made the appointment anyway, even though she's tired of seeing doctors and spending money without getting answers. She says on here, on my first appointment, Dr. Heather knew what was wrong. Tests confirm it. They have been supportive, patient, listened, respond to my endless questions and texts. My Hashimotos, that's an autoimmune disorder, went into remission in 4 months. Adrenals and estrogen took a little bit longer, at about 8 months, and candida has been the thorn in my side, but after 12 months, I have it under control. I don't know where I'd be without Yost. I'm happy again. No more digestive issues, no brain fog, no forgetfulness, no more sugar cravings, no more anxiety or stress, no more gaining weight I'm finally losing, no more depression. My energy is back. I'm sleeping on my own and waking up refreshed. Stay with the program. Continue to fight for yourself and don't give up. Yost knows what they're doing. The program works. There will be ups and downs, but fight through it. I'm so glad I did. That's powerful. If you did decide that you wanted, and if you're not in this area and just want to find a functional medicine doctor, Google functional medicine in your area. But on most doctor's visits, you should sort of expect this type of a first visit. With us, there's a thorough consultation, a review of the medical history, and then we determine what are your goals, why are those your goals, how is this interfering with your life. We want to get to know you and understand how we can truly help you and make a difference in your life. And really with the first visit, I'm not sure I can help you. I mean, not everyone's a good fit, but I promise everybody, if I can help you, I'll tell you, and if I can't, I'll get you to the right place. With our first visit, we always determine what the proper testing would be for your particular case. Typical testing for the first visit is usually about $250. Sometimes we see it go up to, $350, $450, rarely over $5, but it's typically around $250 for that first testing. On the second visit, we review those lab results, and then we let you know, yes, you are a good candidate, meaning we feel like we can help you. If not, again, we still will give you a game plan as to what you need to do next. Typically, there are additional lab recommendations. It's like if you dig out the first initial root layer, you then need to determine, okay, what's the next, where do we need to dig? Or what do these initial markers tell us where additionally we need to dig? And then we talk about frequency and length of care. And I really wish that there was a magic bullet. I wish that we could fix this overnight. But the physiology of the body is like a broken bone. It requires a certain amount of time. We see patients every 2 to 4 weeks, 4 to 6 to 8 months, and then we retest. And upon retesting, we typically, you may not need us as often as you did before. And for the full 4 to 6 to 8 months, it includes, our programs include the doctor's fees, which our brand of care, I think what makes our brand of care stand out is that we're a multi-doctor office, and you don't get one of us, you get all of us. So you're gonna get multiple opinions in one. We work really hard for you, we really do care. You also get unlimited 24/7 access to the doctors. If you have questions or concerns, you'll be able to get to us. It includes, there's a lot of time, a lot of prep time for every visit, the visits themselves, if extra visits are needed, it's not more. We really do give our all to you. And the supplements, nutraceuticals, gosh, we use a lot of them, but I promise we'll taper as you get healthier, because once you get the ball rolling, you don't need as much to correct the body. And then additional labs total, total with everything can range, anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000 over the full period of time to maybe 4 to 5 to 6,000. But I promise you, it's probably less than what you're paying to put braces on your child. It's not, it's an investment in your health. And I mean, if you, listen, if you got your health back, if your quality of life improved, would that not be the best money that you've ever spent? Would that not be worth it? I mean, and so here's who this isn't for. Like I said, there's no magic bullet. You have to be willing to make your health, or if you're looking for the magic bullet, there's no such thing. If you're not willing to make your health a priority, this is going to be really hard for you. If you're not willing to take supplements or change your diet, people have said, I'm just going to do this with diet. I'm the wrong doctor. we use these products to supercharge your results. Food is an eighth of what it was as far as nutrition 50 years ago. Times have changed. You've got to utilize these products to fix. So many people are so deficient, you just can't play catch up with food alone. And if you don't think diet's important, take a performance vehicle and put regular gasoline in it. Your body is a performance vehicle. It needs the right food to heal. Other people, if you're not willing to or able to get laboratory testing to determine your specific needs, if you're in a toxic environment, you're not willing to improve, you can't out-supplement some of these issues, and if you're not willing to face the fact that you're ultimately the person who's responsible, you have to take full responsibility. I am not responsible for fixing you. I am not responsible for doing the hard work. I'm not responsible for your results. That really is something that, as a guide, as a coach, as a doctor who's been doing this a really long time and taking care of people for over 15 years, I can tell you, I'll lay a path out, I'll shine a light on it, I'll walk with you, I'll hold your hand, I'll give the best and everything that I've got to you, but you have to be willing to do the work. You have to be willing to take full responsibility for your health. And when's a good time? So this is a good question. You know, I hear a lot, oh, I've got this going on, or I am going on vacation. I'm going to do it later. You know, the biggest thing that stops people from getting results is a word called procrastination. Sometimes it becomes paralysis by analysis. And I mean, when would be the best time to start to live your best life? When this gets worse, or right now? And you know, I don't want you to overwhelm yourself with everything that's going on. I just want you to start a conversation. I just want you to take the first step. It doesn't even mean you have to do anything. Doesn't mean you have to take on care. Doesn't mean you need to change your diet or take a supplement right now. Just take the first step. Do something that's going to put you in the direction of your best life. We have helped thousands of patients regain their health, and it's one step at a time. Don't look at the entire path and wonder how you'll get there. It's overwhelming because you're looking too far. It creates anxiety. I know so many of you have questions too. I just want you to, your brain will start to go, what if, and this and that, and that's that little gremlin or devil on your shoulder. Stop it. Stop making up excuses. Stop stopping yourself from taking a step towards getting something more. If you want me to help you, I am more than happy to. Please give the office a call at 515-278-4325. That's 515-278-4325. We will help you. We'll take the best care of you possible. You can drop an email to it, info@yostwellnesscenter.com, and one of my staff will take amazing care of you and just set up the initial consultation. It's no charge. It's no obligation. It's just an opportunity to get your best life started. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate you. Have a great rest of the day.